We want to thank our amazing sponsor, the rope drop queen herself, Michelle McKnight. She's a destination specialist with touring plans and can help you plan an amazing vacation. Whether it's Disney, Universal, a cruise, or an all-inclusive, she can help you with booking, planning, and strategizing to help you have an incredible experience at a great rate. Contact her today at michelle@touringplans.com. Now, on to the show.
Helping you navigate the Disney parks.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
You're listening to Rope Drop Radio.
Welcome to another Rope Drop Radio. Derek and Doug talking all things Disney. And Doug, these are my favorite episodes because it's my trip report today, Doug.
Of course, your own trip report has to be your favorite.
Absolutely. I went to Disney World. It was phenomenal. And Doug, guess what? It's a completely different experience when all of your kids have now hit the 40-inch mark.
It is. It's game-changing, isn't it? It's so much different.
It was phenomenal. I honestly, so many firsts for Callum, and then so many firsts again living through his eyes. Star Tours, Big Thunder, Splash. It was awesome. I'm not going to lie.
Doing it all as a family as opposed to splitting up all the time.
Oh, yeah. We didn't have to split up that much this trip, which was wonderful. Except when we chose to get away from some kids. You had to split them up every now and then.
Every now and then, yeah.
The thing is, Doug, not all 40 inches at Disney are the same. I realized.
No, we'll discuss that, right?
And we're going to talk about an incident on Patreon on the Rise of the Resistance. So if you want to hear that and a few other comical stories that happened to Derek, Doug knows a couple. I've texted him. Yep. We're going to talk about that on Patreon as well. So Patreons, be sure to check that out and enjoy some laughs.
And let's thank a few of our patrons, longtime patrons, Mark Collins and Tiffany Wallace. Thank you very much for supporting the show. Also for supporting the show and leaving iTunes reviews. We're going to read one of those. Or Apple Podcasts.
There you go. I was going to correct you, but you got it. Yeah.
Throwback. That tells you right there that we're not new. We've been around.
Yep.
We've done this a couple
times.
2 or
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years worth. All right. So here is the Apple Podcast review. One of my favorites, 5 stars, by High cholesterol. Got it. High cholesterol? Maybe. I don't know. All right. This is one of my favorite Disney podcasts. Thanks for brightening my Fridays. Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Short, sweet. Thank you for leaving those reviews.
Perfect. That's all it's got to be. And go share the show. That's helpful. And to help us share the show, we're doing a giveaway because this is one of Derek's trip reports. And everyone knows Derek has packing issues when it comes to socks.
I packed enough socks for it rained, and I actually had one pair to spare at the end.
I'm coming around. The peer pressure of the rope droppers has finally gotten to you.
Oh, I still forgot something, and I'm going to have that at the very end of the show. What did Derek forget that's essential?
All right, and so this week on social media, we'll have a post to win a pair of Rope Drop Radio socks. They are gorgeous, by the way. Words can't describe.
They are amazing. It's our logo all over a pair of socks.
All over a pair of socks.
My kids are going to try to win those.
Also available on Redbubble, Rope Drop Radio, Redbubble.
Put that link somewhere. Yeah, this week.
You can win some socks. Follow us on social media. You'll have to share, comment, that sort of jazz to get entered to win some socks so that you do not run out on your next trip. Speaking of your trip, Derek, let's get into it. Where did you stay?
We stayed for 5 nights at the beautiful Disney Riviera Resort. Oh, it's one of my favorites. Definitely top 3. Might even move, top 2. Maybe number 1. It is number 1 now to my daughter, who absolutely loved it. We just had a lot of fun. I think we're getting Skyliner snobs. The fact that you can get to Epcot and Hollywood Studios quickly. Doug, I took 2 naps on this trip.
I'm so proud.
I wasn't planning that. It was just like, hop the Skyliner and take a power nap, go back.
It was just like 2 years ago where you were still saying, I don't understand why anyone hops.
I'm also getting, no, that was not 2 years. That was like 5 years ago. We've been doing this show for 6 years.
We'll have to re-listen to some things.
Also, 2 years ago today, the parks weren't even open, and I've had an annual pass for 4 years, so I know about park hopping. Yeah, so we park hop, we slept, we went to the pool every single day. In fact, we had 10 hours of pool time, which is telling you something that we were choosing, or my kids were anyway, than going to the park. So definitely love the Riviera. We got there via Lyft. I know we talked about that last week. And
How'd that work out?
Great. 3 minutes both ways. We had a vehicle loaded up. And I talked to the driver. What?
Work with car seats? How'd that go down? You have to pick the right kind of lift to make sure you get a car
we
seat?
took one car seat with us for Cali.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So brought it along.
Yep, which was no issue at
Is
all.
he booster or a full 5-point harness?
We got a booster for him.
Okay.
He's kind of, I mean, at home he's 5, but on vacation we just grabbed the booster and, judge us as parents as you may.
Okay.
So
when in Rome.
Yes, that was literally, yeah, exactly. But the lifts are back. We talked to one of our Lyft drivers, and by we, I mean me, talked to him, and it's great. They love that Mears is not as good as Magical Express. They say they're getting a lot more drivers and rides out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when it's not included, right? People are just not going to automatically do it.
The fact that I was able to, like, as soon as my luggage was in hand, I click lift, and by the time I walked outside, the driver was there, luggage is in. I couldn't even walk to the Mears station by the time I was on my way to Riviera.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's definitely a good deal. So let's talk about some rope drops since it's Rope Drop Radio.
It is.
You did several rope drops. How'd they go? Where were they at? What did we do? Let's break it on down.
4 days, so 3 successful rope drops, Doug. 3 out of the 4. I failed the show because Animal Kingdom has hours at 7 a.m. now for early entry, and there is no way I'm going to make it. In fact, one of our listeners is there right now and tweeted a picture of the crowds at like 6:30 in the morning, and I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that to my kids. They were tired. It was our last day. So we did successfully rope drop Magic Kingdom twice, and Michelle gave a tip last week that stirred my mind, and I am so glad she said something. So when we went in January, we learned that trying to go to Mine Train or anything in Tomorrow or Fantasy can be a mess at rope drop.
Unless you're like on
and you have to get there early, like
for early entry.
Early, yes. But I mean,
so if you're not in that first half,
if you're not there by 7:30, you're not getting anywhere close. So we want to make sure we got there before the 8:30 crowd. We got there. Parks open at 9, early entries at 8:30. So we got there at 8:15, and we were on the rope for the Jungle Cruise side, Adventureland.
So you went to the off-property rope drop,
yes,
so to speak.
Which worked out phenomenal because we were literally on the rope, and we would have been the first boat on Pirates, but I had issues parking the stroller, so we were the second boat on Pirates. And the second day, we would have been one of the first on Splash, but because they took forever to measure Callum, like 3 or 4 boats got ahead of us on that measuring. But that is such an ingenious tactic because that side of the park is really empty, and then we hit Big Thunder right after both times.
So I gotta ask,
yeah,
why, if you're on the rope, why did you go past Jungle Cruise to Pirates?
We had a lightning lane for it, Doug.
Okay.
And also, everyone
everyone
else did a hard left. It was kind of mind blowing. But
yeah,
I gotta tell you the best part. We're on the rope, and it's about 8:50, and the cast member goes, "Just so you know, if you're staying on property, this side doesn't open till 9. The other side is open." 30 to 40 people got up and left.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it.
It would have taken 10 minutes to walk over to the other side of the park. You're just screwed.
I mean, you could do Tomorrowland Speedway, Astro Orbiter, Buzz, right? Knock those out. Winnie the Pooh. But you can get your headliners on the other side like you did.
Yeah, why not? Stay right there. I loved it. It was a great tip by Michelle, and we did it twice. And by the time we got over to Tomorrowland late in the afternoon and we stacked a couple lightning lanes, it was great. It was easy. That side of the park, most of the people are already done with, and they're on the other side.
Nice. So what did you do after Pirates?
We did Big Thunder both days.
And how long did you have to wait for Big Thunder?
20 minutes tops.
Okay. It seemed like the crowds were a little more manageable than the week prior. Just a hair.
Magic Kingdom felt busy, but not crazy. Hollywood Studios, on the other hand, Doug, was on a different level that I have seen it in a long, long time. It was chaos. We got there for rope drop. My wife and kids went right to rockin'. They were able to do rock and roller coaster twice.
Yeah, so you did the on-property rope drop there really well.
We did. We got there. We got there early. Not as early as I think most people are showing up, though. I was shocked at how many people were ahead of us, Doug. But I took Callum to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway, and my wife and other kids were able to do Rockin' twice before I even got on Mickey's. It took a while for them to get that ride going. And
I think they're just a little slow at opening it every day. We're Rockin', they're like, let's go.
Yeah, they were. My wife was the second car on there. And a lot of people are going to Tower of Terror because it's half down.
A disaster.
It is. And just in general, Hollywood Studios is not the best park at the moment when it comes to managing crowds. We waited in the longest line possible for Alien Swirling Saucer.
That's awful. I'm sorry.
It was horrible. It was like, why do you only have one side open for most of the day?
So what did you do after Rockin' and Mickey and Minnie's? When
Alien
you met back
Swirling
up?
Saucer.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So don't do that right then.
No, well, and what's funny is I thought I'd get that knocked out because Callum kept talking about it. And I was like, I had him already. My wife and kids were doing Midway Mania. So I was like, oh, we're going to meet for Woody's for breakfast. And I was like, oh, we'll just knock this out. Should take, 10 minutes? Nope, took almost an hour.
Well, why not?
Yeah.
Right? So, so this kind of, did you have 4 rope drops?
Yep, and then Animal Kingdom opens at 7 a.m. We're not going to make it. I woke up and said, you know what? I'm buying Flight of Passage. I do not care. We got there about 8 o'clock, so the park had been open for 30 minutes. And at that point, the safari's still not even open.
So weird. The hours with the safari, just like we've talked about before, always check those hours.
Absolutely. It was 8:30, and so we rope dropped Starbucks. My wife is collecting the Starbucks ornaments, got all 4. And we got breakfast there and then just did Flight of Passage. And my wife and Callum did Na'vi.
Oh, okay. He's not quite tall enough for Flight of Passage.
44.
That's 44.
Oh, so. He is 40 by a hair on his head type thing, man. It is. He had to get thoroughly measured every time.
So how was your experience this time around with Genie Plus, individual lightning lanes? How'd you feel? Were you comfortable
I'm
using
comfortable
it a little more?
now. I actually, it's a necessary evil. I love and hate it at the same time. Especially when you're traveling with kids and they don't want to wait in a lot of lines. Magic Kingdom, I nailed it at Magic Kingdom. We got 6 or 7 things knocked out on that. It was great. Hollywood Studios, on the other hand, I got Slinky at 7 a.m. And then the only other lightning lane I was able to get was Star Tours. Millennial Falcon was sold out. Toy Story, of course. I mean, just every Slinky's gone. Tower of Terror's gone. You get 2
one
things.
shot at the 4 main things, right?
Yep.
And you have to buy Rise of the Resistance right at 7 if you're on property. If you're off property, you have no chance in buying Rise of the Resistance. And I mean, it's the second attraction, and then some people can get a third because you could do your second attraction as meet Olaf.
Yeah.
Right, and kind of walk right up to it. But
even in January, I was able to get Millennial Falcon for a second attraction. This, no chance. It was gone.
People, so many more people than January, right? It's the crowds are definitely spring break.
Oh, it was spring break. In fact, we met so many people on this trip who had postponed their spring break for 2 years. This was it. This was the trip of trips. I mean, Millennial Falcon was a 2+ hour line. Rise got to 4 hours at one point.
So when did you do Millennial Falcon? Because I know you went on it.
We did on our final day there. Not final,
evening?
The second to last day. So we did right late at night. We waited exactly 1 hour on the dot.
Okay.
In fact, we were there at park close, and you could have probably not walked on but 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so the very end of the park at Hollywood Studios still the best time.
Absolutely. If you want to do Millennial Falcon. But it's great. It was a fun ride. But
you can only do so many things then.
I know.
Because the park closes.
It's true. We did do Millennial Falcon. And guess what, Doug? We got a 14%.
That's you have to try to get that right.
My kids are terrible. They are really bad.
Worse than a real pilot?
Yes. Wow. And they fought the whole time. It was wonderful. It's my favorite attraction still, but
it is the best with your family.
We got off and the
not
cast
saying your
member was
family,
like,
any family.
oh, any family. Yeah, cast member's just like, wow, you guys hit everything. Good job.
Like, I think the autopilot, like if you don't touch anything, right, you would do better.
Absolutely. Well, and I was the engineer, so I had to push a lot of buttons.
Oh, you were just constantly hitting the wall.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I got 90, like
funny.
4%. And, the reason I didn't get 100 is because I was trying to film it at the same time.
Was Callum on there?
Yep, he was a gunner. Yeah, he's
and
been
what
on
did
it.
he think?
He loves it. He's been on it He's been on it 3 times. So he's been both pilots. Yep.
38 inches, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good times. I love that ride with your family. It makes everybody together and happy.
Yeah. And so we did. We bought Mine Train. We bought Rise.
Saved you lots of time standing in line with your kids.
You got to buy them. In fact, just buying Rise alone, you got to do it. And it sucks paying that bill every morning at 7 a.m. and seeing that total.
Just buy it with your package. It's on every day.
Yep.
You don't have to
Don't
see
have
it.
to worry
That's my
about it.
advice now. Also, like, say Epcot's your first day. A lot of people are like, you don't need it at Epcot. It still helps you. Plus, there's a steep learning curve to it.
Yeah,
like, the first day, it feels pretty foreign. So if your first day is, say, Animal Kingdom or Epcot, where it's not quite as intense as Magic Kingdom, you kind of get familiar with it. Mm-hmm. And then you go to Magic Kingdom and you just crush it like Derek did.
We still got 5 at Epcot. In fact, Test Track alone paid for Lightning Lane that day, and that was our Animal Kingdom morning. We just stacked up Epcot afternoon.
Yeah, that works really well.
Also, a weird thing. I was able to get into Epcot before 2 o'clock.
Yeah, it's like you snuck in. What was it, like 1:45, something like
1:40.
that? Maybe they're getting a little more...
And I wasn't the only one, by the way.
Which entrance?
The front.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Callum wanted to ride the monorail, so we went Magic Kingdom to Epcot.
I mean, as one does.
I fell asleep on the monorail, like out cold.
So 3 naps.
Yeah, but that one was not in the hotel room. Monorail one was just on my own. We'll talk a little bit why Derek was so tired on the Patreon show. Doug knows his story.
Jeez, Derek. All right, we talked a little bit about the crowds, but anything else you want to say about the crowds, really?
The worst one was just Galaxy's Edge and just how many people are in that land, in that area. It made me miss some of the pandemic, I'm not going to lie.
Right. We sometimes forget how lucky we are, Derek, that we have spent time in Galaxy's Edge before the pandemic.
Yep.
And then we went like early in the pandemic, throughout the like we have been in Galaxy's Edge a lot.
Yes.
And so many of the people that were there with you, it was the first time they've ever stepped foot.
Oh, absolutely. And then all the we were there and the Halcyon people were there too. So that just adds numbers, I'm realizing.
Not much.
Not
but
much,
you
but
notice
still,
them.
you notice them. They're in
wait
costume.
to be
It's
noticed.
great. Oh, man, 2 weeks, Doug.
Oh, all right. Dining with kids. How'd you feed them this? Did you feed your children? Sometimes you don't.
Sometimes I don't. You're right. In fact, that did happen one day where Madison's like, you haven't fed the kids and it's almost noon. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. We should do that. So we did book 3 ADRs for this trip, and we can talk about all 3 of them. We got Ohana breakfast, Garden Grill for dinner, and then Le Cellier for dinner as well, Doug.
All right, let's talk about Ohana. You did that more as a brunch, right?
Yep, got there
like your lunch.
Yep,
but
they didn't even
breakfast.
let us in until almost close to noon anyway, so it as lunch as it can be.
Yeah, it's breakfast food. But it looks better than like just bacon, eggs, sausage. Like did anything stand out to you in that
For my
Ohana
kids,
breakfast?
they love the Stitch waffles. That was a huge win. They ate all that.
Same
the
as
Happy
all the other
Juice.
waffles.
The Happy Juice is what stood out for me. I drank like 9 glasses of that stuff. You would be dead.
I can't. Yeah.
Can't even try it. But nothing really stood out for any of us as food. Like, I just thought it was a normal breakfast. The eggs and sausage, potatoes, they tasted good, but it really is missing the character interaction so bad.
At least it's cheaper than when they had characters. I will say that, but it's still expensive. It's still a sit-down meal.
$100 on the dollar.
For the 5
Yep.
of you. So 2 adults, 3 kids, $100.
Yep, that's about it.
So
But you
double
know what?
that
I
when
look at
Stitch
that
is
and I was
back.
like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. And we got to get off our feet, and my kids finally got to see the Polynesian.
And happy juice.
And happy juice.
That's what they
Lots of
called
happy
it.
juice.
Happy
Yeah, I
juice.
know. I drank like 9 glasses. I'm probably still peeing because of it. It was good.
Let's talk Garden Grill.
Garden Grill.
Characters.
Well, characters are back, actually, and I really like the interaction with the
They've
characters.
been there. Yeah, it reopened with characters.
It did, and
long time ago.
They did a phenomenal job of just keeping them behind you. Pluto played Peekaboo with Callum. We had a joke with Chip and Dale, and asked Callum who's favorite chipmunk. He said Dale, and they interacted. Mickey, of course, being a highlight, and they come around a couple times, so it was great that we get to interact with them. The food, of course, is still the same food, really good. My kids loved it. My wife loved it. I only ate a roll, Doug, which is something we're going to talk about on the Patreon show, why Derek only ate a roll at Garden Grill.
Trying to get your pants to fit for the house.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
So, you got to wonder how much longer they're going to keep that at like 50% capacity, use that whole upper ring for the characters.
It's got to be changing soon. In fact, I talked to my waiter at Ohana, and he goes, if we don't have the characters back by August, we're in trouble.
Oh, it's got to.
Because it affects their tips. It affects everything.
Because it's the meal's cheaper, so 20% of 20 is a lot less than 20% of 40.
Yep.
I am not good at math, as proof by my trip report last week, because I've been called out on that. But yeah, it's a good point with the tip. So let's talk Le Cellier. No characters needed there.
No,
the
none
steak
at all.
Is the attraction.
Oh my gosh. So we got that ADR at a 5:30 ADR at 4:30 while at Epcot.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yes. I was actually planning on taking the wife and kids to barbecue across at the American Pavilion, Regal Eagle. And she goes, I want to sit down somewhere. And she pulled up her app and she's got, okay, we're going to Le Cellier. And she booked it. And I was like, I don't want to spend that money. But we spent that money. And you know what? It was such a win. It was my favorite meal that we had. Everyone got a steak except for Callum. He got mac and cheese. Everyone ate all of their food, which is a win in itself. Yeah. There was ice cream at the end. Our waitress had been there for 10 years from Canada, so I got to talk to her about where my family is from up north. It was just a wonderful experience, and it went 10 times better than I thought it would.
Well, that's good. That makes the check at the end not so painful then.
Yes, exactly.
And your steak was excellent.
Oh my gosh, it was probably one of the best cooked steaks I've had on property.
Wow.
Like perfect. Because I said I want it between medium and medium rare. And they did. They did it. Because at home, I like literally know exactly what temperature I want all my steaks so I can cook them or I can sous vide them. And just, I know what I like. They nailed it.
And you got it.
I got it.
That's good. Let's talk counter service because let's be honest, everybody eats some counter service. You ate at Woody's twice?
Yeah, breakfast and dinner.
How was dinner? I know you've talked enough about breakfast on the shows in the past, right?
Dinner, yeah.
Let's talk dinner.
We had the brisket grilled cheese, and that was really good, phenomenal. In fact, wow, I kind of want it again. And then my kids split some tachos, which is like the tater tot nachos with cheese and queso and gravy. It was phenomenal as well.
They're potato barrels, Derek.
Potato barrels. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't want to get in trouble with the tater tot people.
That's right. Potato
barrels. Yeah.
They were good. It was great, and I enjoyed it. And then also during that dinner, my wife and son went to Ronto Wraps and got those as well.
So kind of divide and conquer. And with that dinner, with the grilled cheese brisket, sounds great. I love grilled cheese. I love meat stuffed in my grilled cheese. But if it's like 95 degrees out, are you still going to eat dinner there outside?
Yes.
Okay.
It was good. It was worth it.
That good?
Yeah.
All right. You'll sweat for it.
I mean, how many times on this show have I talked about eating at Woody's?
A bunch, but this is always breakfast. So this is new.
No, we've eaten dinner there before. But yeah, we eat breakfast there every single trip.
Okay.
It's that good.
Creatures of habit there.
A little bit. We also ate at Backlot Express.
Chicken nuggets and burgers.
Chicken nuggets. All chicken nuggets for the kids.
What are the better themed restaurants? It's kind of cool
Oh,
to
I love
see.
it. And the kids love it as well.
Yeah, all the props and everything, and self-serve drinks.
Yep. Yep.
Just keep refilling that cup, right? Um, and then where else did you eat on property? What about Magic Kingdom? You had to
We
eat something there,
we
right?
did eat at Magic Kingdom. We ate pretzels
Okay,
one time. That was all of our meal. But then we also ate at Starlight.
with the old Cosmic Rays.
Got to. Yep.
Did you get the Cheeto burger?
I did not get that.
Oh, the listeners would have loved that,
They
Derek.
would have. I actually got their new thing that they were doing, which was a chicken, like a barbecue chicken sandwich. It was pretty good. Not gonna lie, I mean it's the same food. I'm tired of eating there, but my kids love it, and we're always seem to be in Tomorrowland when they're hungry.
Yeah, our kids voted for it last time, and we said no,
Oh, haven't
no.
gotten that yet.
You'll
Also,
get
I
there.
did eat at Satuli's.
Thank goodness. Did you have to carry it across the whole park?
My wife did for me.
Oh,
So thank you, Madison, for carrying that across the park to me. I took two of my kids on Dinosaur and Triceratops Spin, and then we met at Cali River Rapids,
so where'd you eat it?
right outside Cali River Rapids.
So just you ate and the kids watched?
Madison and I ate. Well, the plan, they wanted to get green buckets at Restaurantosaurus.
Mm-hmm,
So that
mm-hmm.
was the plan. We were going to eat. We were going to do, and then it starts raining. So we did Cali River Rapids, got soaked to the bone.
Yeah,
And
that
so
ride is nuts.
we went back to the resort. We ate at the resort at Primo Piatti probably 5 or 6 times. We got almost everything on the menu. In fact, I would say we got everything on the menu in the time we were there.
Even the vegetarian
Nope, no,
mushroom
the
burger.
skewers,
Okay,
no, I didn't get that.
okay.
Almost
Just
everything.
checking.
Yes, you're
Just
right.
checking. I was curious what you thought, but all right. So you ate well.
Always got to
What do
eat
you
well.
what do you get at Satuli's?
I get the hash with the steak and the charred green onion sauce
Is it regular potato hash or sweet potato hash?
mix.
Mix.
Yep.
Okay.
I do need to get the noodles again. I need to give them another try.
I don't think the noodles would travel well across the
Probably
park.
not.
I think once they cool off, they'd get gummy.
The fact that I was able to get away from not buying green buckets is the biggest win of the trip.
That's
We spent an arm and a leg on a bunch of other stuff on the trip, but yeah, no green buckets.
the buckets just kill me. I can't. I just can't with the buckets. Speaking of spending money on souvenirs, you got to do one of the experiences in Hollywood Studios. Tell us about that.
We went to the Droid Depot, and this is the highlight for me and pretty much the kids on this trip. Building droids, while expensive, is wholly worth it. My son, I mean, he's binge watching Rebels as we speak, is really into Star Wars. We actually just all watched episode 1 last night. And so they're really getting into it. And so the droids were just this next way of getting them into my fan base even more. My gingers each made a BB-8 unit. My littlest made an R2 unit. They named them DS-8, Snoopy, and Brother. You can figure out which kid named which thing.
You want me to guess here? Let's see, DS8 would be Declan.
There you go.
Sassman,
Yep,
8.
yep, because he's 8.
Yep,
Yep,
yep. And then I'm going to go with Snoopy is Olivia.
yep, you got it.
And then so Callum went with brother because he
Yes.
wanted a new brother.
He wants
Is
a little
that-
brother. Yes.
Okay.
And that droid has gone everywhere with him. Everywhere. It is in his bed. It is. We played. I actually put it on our Insta story. We played Rise of the Resistance today. So he made a little makeshift cart. He put the droid in front, and then he
Yeah.
acted like we were going and being shot at. And so it's his favorite ride by far.
Let's see, because he's smart.
He is, and he loved it. So, yeah, that droid was a great thing. Just so much fun. And they did such a great job. We actually were able to get the last walk-up of the day, which I felt very lucky and blessed. In fact, they're like, we only have one spot open, and somehow I got some magic that they let all 3 of my kids in.
So, did you go there pretty early in the morning
I
to
did.
ask about walk-ups?
Yep.
And then did you have to come back way later for the walk-ups?
No,
or-
actually, thankfully, it was just like, they're like, we're sold out for the today, except right now. Like this second, we have one spot open. And part of it, they looked at Callum, because I had Callum with me. And I was like, this is actually for my other 2 kids. And then we decided to let Callum do it as well. But it's
Very nice.
such, like, being in there and how much we spent.
Oh,
That is a cash cow.
I saw you had some backpacks,
Yeah,
sir.
we did the backpack, and that was more spending to make it easier as the parent, because I did not want to lug a box
The
around.
boxes are a pain in the butt.
Absolutely. So we spent the extra money on the backpack, and my kids had to carry it around, carry it on the airport. Actually, they did really well. And honestly, we had issues with them, so we actually took them back the next day, and they had a cast member actually fix a couple of our droids a little bit, and it was great.
Very nice. Did you do any of the add-on parts?
We did not the add-on parts. We did do the voice. Everyone has a different voice.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of upsell.
Yeah,
stuff.
they got us.
They get you.
They know how to talk to kids, by the way. So
yeah, Alden did all the things. It was like, I don't know how we stop him.
Yep.
I imagine that was kind of how it was for.
And picking out parts with 3 kids, that was an experience in itself. That took way longer. Like, the people behind us were like, really? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's a big decision.
It is.
I mean, it's the biggest
decision. The fact that there's no
that
green droid for my diehard Packer son, Declan, that was a hard one.
There's a reason. Nobody needs a Packers droid.
Okay, so he's got a Husker droid.
Smart choice.
Yep.
Smart choice. You know, the Husker baseball team's in first place in the Big Ten. So, I mean.
Did not even know that.
Well, they're 1-0.
Oh, there we go.
1 game in. So, all right. Back to it. Things coming back. We talked about that last week a little bit. What was your take on the parade being back? And then I have a what if about parades.
I like it. Well, we watched the parade 2.5 times, Doug.
Like, held down a spot, waited for it, watched it, or like, hey, there's a parade, stop
the halftime was when we were getting back into the Magic Kingdom after Ohana, and we caught the last like 2 or 3 floats. The first time we watched it, the next day, we sat down, got a spot right on the rope, and Callum was out cold. He was taking a stroller nap. So we were really bummed out because we wanted Callum to be able to see this. So on our last Magic Kingdom day, we did the noon and didn't get the best spot, but right in front of the castle. Still, he loved it. I loved it. I didn't realize I missed it as much as I did, but it definitely brought a smile to my face. And watching him wave, and even Olivia, my 10-year-old who acts like a teenager, is just jumping up and down, screaming at the princesses, waving. I was like, oh my gosh, she's a kid again. It was that's what the parade does.
Yeah.
Side note, I did pick up Callum to see some of the things, and my shoulders still hurt.
Yeah, the parade is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm glad it's back. And it's doing 2 shows a day. Great. Keep it up.
So, here's my what if or would you rather. So we talked earlier about Ohana dining, and we're still missing a lot of character dining. Like Cape May, 1900. This is a pretty good list. The number of cast members in that parade, it's big. It takes a lot of manpower to run a parade. Would you rather see the parade run or have all of our character dining and character experiences back throughout all of Walt Disney World?
Oh, that's easy. Dining and experiences, done. We still have the cavalcades. The cavalcades still came quite regularly.
I feel like it's kind of the same amount of manpower.
At this point, I don't even understand why some of the meet and greets are not back.
Yeah, it's like Enchanted Tales with Belle.
Yeah.
Like, at least just make it a meet and greet, right?
Something.
You walk by, have a rope, like you do the other princesses. So that's kind of like...
Is that ever coming back? At this time, I'm just like, when is it going to... When am I going to be able to hug a character, high-five a character, something again?
You're going to have to fly to France because they're doing that like next week.
Okay.
Let's book your trip to Paris. That's all I can tell you. All right. So
and if I had to answer the question to my son, why is there no Mandalorian meet and greet? One more time, I was going to lose it. So that is his biggest complaint.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, that would be, I mean, why isn't he just walking around somewhere? I don't know.
I don't know. I do not know.
Yep.
All right. You also did Turtle Talk with Crush.
I am so glad that it's back. We did that show twice. The first time I just had Olivia and Callum, and Callum didn't really get it. He didn't get the whole raise your hand thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
my wife was really sad because she wanted to. It's been, I mean, how many years since we've done that show? And by the way, they were on. Like, this was the funniest. I laughed really hard the first time. The second time we go, there's even more kids, and Olivia and Declan both get picked too. One got picked on, Declan got picked on, and then Olivia got to ask a question. I was laughing half the show. It was great. I actually filmed them. And then after the show, Callum starts crying because his big brother and big sister got picked, and everyone's leaving. The cast members like down on her knee, like, "Hey, buddy, I know you have. What's your question for a Crush?" And he's trying to mumble something, and Crush goes, "Hey, Callum, I heard you have a question for me." And Crush came out and basically gave us a 2-minute one-on-one experience with Callum. That was Disney magic, and I just, it was great. It was great to see that. It does. Like, to go above and beyond for a 4-year-old, it made his day.
That's pretty cool.
And help the parents not have to deal with a crying toddler.
Right? That's even more priceless. I mean, so what was his question?
Oh my gosh, now I forgot. He had I have it on video, and I posted it on our Facebook page. So go to our Facebook page and watch it yourself.
There you go. All right. So you did a ride for the first time on this trip, and that was Cali River. How was it? I feel like it's one of the most frightening attractions in the history of attractions because you don't know the Russian roulette of soaking.
And actually, I did. When I got on the ride, we were with people we talked to the whole time in line. I was sitting next to Callum, and I said, "There's 100% I get hit with water." And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I've never been on this ride, and I've been coming to Disney most of my life. And I think in the last 6 years, I've done probably 15 plus 20 trips at this point. It's been crazy." And one of the guys was talking to me. He's like, "How is it even possible?" And I'm like, "I don't like to be wet at a theme park at all.
Right,
I hate when my shoes are wet. I have to then dry them in the room, and we know how that goes." And so, yeah, Callum and I got soaked, and it was downpouring rain on us as well. Every ounce of our bodies were wet, but my phone stayed safe, Doug. So that was the best part.
Why didn't you put your phone in the locker that's provided?
Just did not even dawn on me. And I know the locker's there because Callum was playing over there. It's not. It just was one of those things where in my mind, I'm like, I still want to take pictures and everything. And Madison took a ton of pictures, but once my phone was in my pocket, I was not taking it out. I didn't even text you back.
Good call.
Yep.
Good call. Ugh. All right. So I'm glad you got
But now
to do
I've
that
done all the rides at Walt Disney World. Been holding on to that one for a while.
All right. How about Test Track? How did Callum like that since it was his first time on that?
He loved it. And that was Declan's number one must do. He wanted to take Callum on Test Track. He actually ended up doing that ride. Declan did it twice. Once with just Madison earlier in the trip on the very first day. And then we took Callum, and I actually woke up early and decided at the last minute to grab a lightning lane for that, even though we were at Animal Kingdom in the morning. So glad we did because the line was ridiculous. In fact, Doug, the lightning lane line, I sent you a picture, was even more ridiculous.
Yeah. It just takes one group of people that don't actually have a lightning lane trying to get in to stop it all up, right?
Oh my gosh, it pushed back far. And it was crazy. And the people behind us go, "Well, screw this. We're going to go into the single rider line." And I go, "Do you have a lightning lane?" They're like, yeah, but there's going to be single rider. It's going to be faster. I go, "Okay." And they go through single rider, and I made eye contact with them through the lightning lane as I was getting on the ride. I counted. They had 42 people still ahead of them. No joke on that number. And it was going to be a while before they got on. So if you have a lightning lane, just wait. A lot of times people come at the same time. You're going to get on the ride faster. 20 minutes on the dot from when we got there and got on the ride.
Gonna take care of you.
And Callum loved it. Loved it. That was one that he got to make his own car. It was red. It had flames. Olivia got to make her own car. It was great. And just a great moment for us as a family to be able to enjoy together. Another one of those firsts.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, let's talk a little nighttime shows. Everyone knows you're the biggest Harmonious fan around. Did you grab a spot on the rail and stand for 2 hours?
No. Now that I've
No?
seen it,
Okay.
I was in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 11 times. I do not. We actually got there a little bit later than I wanted to, and it was busier than I thought it would be. So we were pushed back from we went to the front of the park to try to get that good spot, but they were all filled up. So we were a little bit back. Declan somehow made his way up there. So good job, him. And so him and Olivia were able to get prettier closer to the Stargate. So they watched it, and Callum was kind of getting kind of cranky, tired. I watched it on the walk. So I was able to walk out, and it ended as soon as I was leaving the park. So it's great.
So you beat the rush to the Skyliner.
Which is what I wanted to do because I needed to get Callum to bed.
Yeah, no one needs to stand in that Skyliner line with a toddler.
Yep.
The line moves, but the end of the night, it's never moving fast enough.
No, and then what we want to do, one thing that was on my list of things that I wanted to do this trip is I wanted to watch it because we were staying at the Riviera. I wanted to watch it from the Skyliner. So the last night that we were at the resorts, we went back to Epcot, did a bunch of things. That's when we did test track and all this stuff. And we waited for about 7 minutes and then got on the Skyliner and watched the second half from the air. And you know what? That was a really nice little experience, especially it was just us five in the Skyliner. I wish they piped in the music because we were trying to figure it out. It just doesn't make sense that they don't do that. But it was really a fun show to be able to see from the air.
Maybe they don't do it because they're trying not to encourage it. I mean, I don't know.
Probably makes sense.
It seems like something they could handle, though. You need to have the music queued up on, like, YouTube or something and hit play right when it starts.
That would have been a better idea.
Music.
Now now I know.
Remember
I'll do that
folks.
next time.
There's the tip for Skyliner music.
We were annoyed because we landed about 1 minute before the finale.
Yeah, the ride isn't quite long enough, is it?
No. We tried to time it out, but still a great experience that I wanted to do. Here's the crazy thing, Doug. We never did fireworks at the Magic Kingdom. Like, we asked our kids. They said, no, we're good, and I didn't want to deal with crowds.
Yep. And
so
buses and crowds.
Buses. And in fact, that's what made us Skyliner snobs. We like being able to go Skyliner back to the Riviera, so we did not stay at the Magic Kingdom.
Man, so you are not the Magic.
And also, our kids wanted to swim every night after the parks for at least 30 minutes. So if we stay for fireworks, they're not getting swim time.
Good point.
Hollywood Studios, I did miss I wanted to stay for the movie show, but I got outvoted.
As you should have.
Probably.
Yeah.
If it was closer, it was like 8:15, and the first one was like at 8:40. If it was like 10-minute window, could have done it.
Instead of 30.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nah, it was about the cutoff time.
Yeah. And then the Skyliner line would have been longer.
That's true.
Yeah. I can't blame the kids for that vote.
Nope.
So, how about getting home? You had a nice early flight, a direct. Congratulations. How'd your luggage fare?
Yeah, so I posted a little picture on the Insta story. My brand new Mickey Mouse suitcase got the massive dent in the side. Like, how does it get a dent that size into a suitcase?
Seeing how far they could throw it, Derek.
It must have been. Like, I took a hammer to it today and got most of the dent out. But wow, like I've never seen luggage that happen. It just blows my mind. Brand new luggage.
Did you get the blow dryer on it? Heat it up?
Nope, should have done that.
Yeah, do that.
That's probably a better idea. Get the rest of it out. All right. I used a blow dryer on my shoes after Cali River Rapids. I used
newspaper.
All that then.
Take the newspaper. It's much better for the person that's in the room after you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had to get all the shoes dried, so that was, all the kids.
Yeah.
Because they were not going to go back to the parks in wet shoes. You got to improvise.
It's not fun. It's wet shoes in a park. Not fun at all.
No.
So I like to stuff them full of newspaper. Works like a charm. But Derek likes to stink up the room with a blow dryer.
That's exactly what I like to do.
All right. So trip overall, good time?
Overall, phenomenal. Just the fact that Callum is now big enough. I mean, Star Tours, we rode that 3 times. Just great. He loved every second of it. Big Thunder, Splash. Every time he got off a ride, he'd go, do it again, do it again. So just having that excitement. Yeah, it was crowded, it was busy, but it was good for us to be able to get away with the kids for spring break. And you don't know how many more, you never know. Hopefully parks never shut down again, but the kids are also getting older too. So you want to live as much magic as you possibly can.
Definitely. Your kids are a great age. You want to...
Oh, perfect.
Droid
Depot, I think they are on the dot, the perfect age for that experience.
Yeah.
So next time
Callum's on the young side, but yeah, it's that 10 to 7 range.
Yep.
Really good. My kids, if I had said, hey, we're going to the Droid Depot, they would have been like, why? But when we did it, they were younger. We did that right away back in 2019. I'm glad we did. We felt silly spending that money, but they had a blast.
That was a lot of money.
And I think the same thing. You were trying to get into Savi's, but you know what? I think in another year
I think so too.
You'll get more out of Savi's, similar to how you got so much out of Droid Depot.
I think so. I agree with you.
The two experiences really do cater to two different crowds. So, what's next travel-wise for you and your family, Derek?
Well, my son Declan, for his birthday, we're still getting that all squared away. Is going to be down in May with just my wife, so he can do. And I said that on many times this trip. I'm like, dude, you're going to go by yourself in May. You can do whatever you want. This one you're doing with the family. And then actually next trip is you and me in 2 weeks to the Star Cruiser. And then family, I'm taking Olivia for a few days to the Polynesian in August before our Disney cruise. And then the other 3 will meet us down, Polly, maybe 1 or 2 days. And then we got a Disney cruise in August. And then we're still trying to plan the Wish. Cannot wait.
Wish.
And then trying to plan something for November as well. Just working on the dates with some friends of ours who want to go.
Awesome. All right. Fantastic, Derek.
It's great. But what did I forget, Doug? Literally,
yeah.
What did I forget? Always forget something.
It wasn't socks this time, folks, which remember, we're giving away on social media, rope drop socks. But it was something that you've forgotten before.
Yes.
Charging cords.
Hold on. I had charging cords. I had plenty of cords because I've realized all of our cords in our house are now USB-C, and they go into that extra new wall outlet that all of our phones and watches and everything comes with nowadays. So we brought all of those and forgot that those do not work with our power packs, especially the ones you get with touring plans. And so I had to buy a cord at the Riviera. That was an expensive cord. And that cord is now in my... I could have, but it was one of those moments where we're like leaving to go to the park. It's just got it now. Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's in my Disney bag, and that cord will forever live in my Disney bag.
Good call. There's some things you just shouldn't unpack.
Yeah. The power packs, those stay in my Disney bag until I need them for the next trip.
Excellent. All right. Sounds like you guys had a fantastic trip, and I look forward to some of these more embarrassing stories.
Oh, they're going to be good.
Coming up.
You have to check that out on the Patreon. Go into the link and click there to support the show and hear all these great things that I'm going to share. And also want to thank Michelle for always helping us book our travel. If you want to book with Michelle, you can email her directly at michelle@touringplans.com. And be sure to follow us on social media for a pair of socks. And Doug, last week, trip report. Me, this week, trip report. 2 weeks, Star Cruiser trip report. We got some good stuff coming up, so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, and please leave a review. But for Doug, I'm Derek. You've been listening to Rope Drop Radio.